Perfect. All right. So joining me on our chair here, you want to be seated up nice and tall on your sit bones. If your feet or your heels aren't on the floor rooting you down, you can always bring the floor up closer to you so you can step on 2 blocks or on 2 books. But we're going to start off with our belly breath here. So having one hand, right or left, on your belly and one on the chest. As we breathe, we're going to separate that breath into 3s. So your first one is going to lift the top hand. Second, third, or 2/3 in, you're going to breathe through the belly. And last third here, we're going to breathe through the low abdomen. Once we have all thirds there, we're going to sigh it all out. And we'll do that one more time. So one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. Inhale 1/3. Inhale the next third. And inhale the full. Expanding all and then sighing it all out. And you're going to do this 3 more times at your own pace. Trying to expand the chest first, rib cage, and then low belly, and then sighing it all out. So this just allows us to tune in with the breath, feeling the physiological sensations that your breath may bring, and then feeling if you can guide that breath to any tension here. And that's what we will be working on. So once you do get to that last belly breath, we're going to start by getting that circulation into our spine and working on our cat and cow. So I'm going to turn the chair sideways so you can see. So again, sitting up nice and tall on our sit bones, holding on to the sides of the chair, or just relaxing them on your thigh. We're going to inhale, looking up, arching the spine towards the front. And exhaling, rounding the back, looking towards your belly button. And inhaling to arch. This is our seated cow. And exhaling to round into your seated cat. You're going to continue this one for 5 repeats at your own pace. Again, inhaling and then exhaling to round. Inhaling, opening the shoulders and the chest. And exhaling, rounding the back. And since we're just starting off here with our practice, you don't have to go 100% cat-cow. You can go 50 to 60% of that motion. You just want to get a little bit of circulation and blood coming into the arching and rounding of your back. So once you come to your last cat-cow, we're going to work on our Gomukhasana arms. So if you do have your strap available for you, we have one more person trying to come in. So having a long strap, a belt or a towel will work really well. What you want to do, having seated cow here, you're going to lift your arms up to a T to the sides. I'm going to have my right thumb up, left thumb down. Your upper thumb is going to come above your head. Downward thumb is going to come down behind your back. So once we're here, you bend at the elbows. And if you can reach your fingertips, that's where we're going to hold on to. But if you can't, don't worry. That's what our strap is here for. So you're going to have the strap on your left arm. And again, thumb down, right thumb up, turning. I'm going to turn around so you can see what's going on. Bending at the elbows and grabbing the strap like so. And depending on how flexible you're feeling here, you can try to anchor and pull your fingers closer and closer towards each other on that belt, or you can let loose and just hold a little bit further away. So this is Gomukhasana arms. And we're going to breathe here for 3 long, steady breaths. So as we're sitting here in Gomukhasana, please make sure you're still opening the chest. You're not rounding your shoulders forward. Your upper elbow is going to try to reach nice and high towards the ceiling, and you're going to bring that lower elbow down towards the mat. So one more breath here. And at your last breath here, go ahead and unpretzel the arms, let go of the belt, come back into a T. And we're going to bring that strap to the other side if you do have that available to you. And from here, your left thumb up, right thumb down, thumbs up, come up, thumb down comes behind you, bend at the elbow, and then grab onto your strap again if available to you. Opening the chest. And bring our heart forward. Again, steady breath here, 3 long breaths. So I did make this practice today. Sorry, I think we're coming to our last breath. At your last breath, go ahead and slowly unravel the arms. But as I was saying, into a T and slowly bring our hands down. I made this practice here to kind of get our core and our energy up today. So please let me know if it needs a little bit of work or if it was too energizing. All feedback is good. So from here, we're going to do a little flow session here that includes cactus arms and a forward fold. So I'll do it once for you first, and then you'll follow along. So always following the breath here, we're going to inhale the arms up, exhale into a T, cactus arms. Inhale, stay, and exhale, we're going to come forward. It's kind of swan diving forward. As you inhale, push against your feet, your knees, and you're going to come into a straight back, like so. And exhale, fold all the way down. And then we'll do the same thing, and then coming back up and inhaling. So go ahead and follow me here. Inhaling up to the top. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale and exhale all the way down. Inhale, push into a half lift, and exhale, roll down, and inhale up, bringing the arms up towards you, towards the sky. Exhale, open the chest, open that back into a T or cactus arms. You're going to inhale, stay, and exhale, swan dive down. Inhaling into a half lift, straightening the back. Exhale, round, and inhale, coming up. Bring the arms up and exhale into your cactus arms. Inhale, stay, and then exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a half lift, exhale down, and inhale all the way up. One last time here. Should get that blood circulation going. Bring your arms into a cactus. Inhale to stay, and then exhale, swan dive down. Push against the knees into a straight back. Exhale down. And then inhale, coming up. And exhale out. Good. From here, we're going to come into a couple side leans to work on our intercostals. So I'll turn the chair around here. And what you want to feel is you're kind of like actually crunching one side over the other. So sitting up nice and tall. You're going to pretend that you have like a weight or a shopping bag in one hand, and you're just going to tilt and bring that arm closer down to the floor. and then coming up. So that is our lean here. And we're going to do this 10 times. We're on number 4. Oh, there's one more person in the waiting room. Okay. So on that last one here, come up nice and straight, sitting up nice and tall. You're still pushing into the 4 corners of your feet. So you're going to do the opposite side. So think of holding a dumbbell weight on one side, and you're just going to lean and bring your arm closer down to the mat, and then come up. So what's important here is that you're actually holding the belly in. Think of someone pulling your belly button in towards the back spine. And as you lean to one side, think of this accordion as just making a little notch here in your side, and this side's nice and stretched. But when you pull yourself up, your muscles on this side are contracting and pulling you nice and straight. I may have lost count here, but hopefully you haven't and you've gotten to 10. But from here, we're going to go ahead and do a spinal twist. So this is just going to get our circulation and our abdomens a little bit more open here. So as we inhale, this is when you lengthen your spine, and you're exhaling, you're going to turn towards the back of your chair and hold on to the right side of your chair. And every time you inhale, you lengthen the spine first, and then you exhale to twist. Inhaling to lengthen and exhale to twist. You can continue that twist by looking over your right shoulder. And we're going to stay here for 2 long breaths. Last inhale, go ahead and lengthen. And exhale to unwind, coming into your neutral spine. We're going to do the opposite here. Inhale to lengthen. Exhaling, turning towards your left. Hold on to the back of the chair for support. Inhaling to lengthen, exhale to turn. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to turn. Staying here for 2 long, steady breaths. So your twists are made to help get the bounciness back into your vertebrae. Always a good stress reliever, getting circulation and mobility back into the spine, especially when we're sitting too often. Last inhale. And exhaling to turn around to center. Good. And we're going to go ahead and start working on the core here by doing a couple marches. So I'm going to turn this chair around. And what you want to be doing, you can actually sit at the edge of your chair just to give your legs a little bit of room here. Sitting up nice and tall. Shoulders are rounding back behind you, so you do have space between your earlobes and your shoulders. Nice and long neck. And from here, try to dissect the body where this top half is not going to move, just your legs are moving. So you can hold on to the chair edge for support. And as you inhale, I think it's inhale, yeah. As you inhale, you're going to lift one knee up and exhale it down. Opposite side, lifting the left leg up and down. Now try to notice that you're not hunching or crunching yourself closer to the knee. You're keeping the back body nice and straight, and you're pulling your knee closer to your face. Nothing on your top half here is moving other than your legs. So once you can feel your core is nice and tight and doing most of the work here, if available to you, you can try to lean back and lift both legs up. and down. I use a lot of the pressure on my arms to keep my back nice and straight and lift. But if that's too much, don't worry. Just come back into your marches, following the breath, inhaling as you lift, and exhaling to lower. So we're just getting a little bit of warming of the feet here and the legs. And this will help us come into our swim kicks. So same thing, nice and neutral back, no rounding. We're gonna stop here at your last march. Sitting up, you're going to actually pull both feet forward. And this is where you can actually lean to kind of balance yourself out, because you're going to be able to lift your legs and think of yourself paddling the legs. And what I do want to have is either flexed feet, or you can also point your toes, but you're pretty much beating the legs up and down while still holding the core. And you, okay, leaning back as far as you need to kind of like keep yourself lifted. We're gonna do this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring your feet down. And this is where we can come to our hamstring stretch. So there are a couple ways that you can do this. If you do have a step stool or a block handy, you can place it just above or in front of you. I'll just show you here. So while seated, stretching that hamstring, you're gonna bring that block a little bit ahead of you, placing, I'm gonna put my left heel up first onto the block, and then leaning or hinging at your hip, come forward and flex the left toes so the toes are coming towards your face. So we can do a hamstring stretch seated, or if you have the balance and you'd like to try a little bit more, you can have your foot up onto the seat, hips nice and straight, leaning forward. Again, your toes are still coming towards your face, and you're just gonna hold on to the back of the chair for support. You can also have a little micro bend in your leg if you do feel like that's what you need today to get into that stretch. But you should feel a nice little stretch here across the back of the hamstring or back of the leg. And we're gonna be here for 3 breaths. And at your last breath, go ahead and trade legs. If you're seated, just move your block to the right side. And if you're standing, just bring the opposite heel up onto the chair and slowly exhale, inhaling, straighten the back. But when you hinge forward at the hip, no rounding the shoulders. And again, 3 long, steady breaths here. So at your last breath, you're going to go ahead and bring yourself up. Bring your heel up off of the chair or up off of the block. And we're going to come into our first warrior of the day. So having this chair here, we're going to come into warrior 2. So that's where we're opening from the inside thigh, and we're going to expand, having the knees outwards. So this will help kind of open up the hips here. How I'd like you to start is sitting on the left corner of your chair. That way you'll have the ability to bring your right knee to the side, and then pushing your left leg all the way back behind you. So you should have your hips, if you need your hands on your hips, make sure your hips are level and facing the wide edge of your mat. You've got your right knee out, bending over the middle toes or tracking over the middle toes. And you've got your front heel in line with the back arch or the arch of your back foot. So from here, you're going to inhale your arms up to T, warrior 2. Feeling that back leg is straight, nice and strong. And you're trying to get a nice 90-degree bend in that front leg. Staying here for 2 breaths. We're going to lean forward and come into an extended side angle so you can lean nice and sturdy on your right elbow, and windmill that arm down and up so you have a nice diagonal line. Again, we'll be here for 2 breaths. Then you'll windmill the arms back into warrior 2. Good. That right arm, you're going to rotate so the palm's facing up and resting your back hand on the thigh on your back leg. You're going to inhale the arm, right arm nice and high above you. Mini back bend here into reverse warrior. Staying here for 2 breaths. Breathing through that right side body. And then bring yourself into warrior 2. So we're going to go ahead and do this into a little flow here. So go ahead and bring yourself into extended side angle. Inhale the arm up. Exhale. Inhale here. And exhale into warrior 2. Rotate those arms. We're going to inhale into reverse warrior. Stay here for a breath. And then exhale into your warrior 2. Third time, one more. So leaning forward. If available to you, you can actually bring your hand onto the floor. Windmill the arm up. Staying here for 1 breath. Inhaling up into your warrior 2. And then exhale. And then inhale again. You're going to come into your reverse warrior. Stay here for a breath. And then exhale into warrior 2. So we're going to go ahead and bring that back leg in. And we're going to go ahead and do it on the opposite side here. So go ahead and get nice and comfy onto the right corner of your chair. Having your left leg nice and open. Knees are tracking over your middle toes. And then pushing your right leg up behind you. So wherever your heel is facing, try to find a line between that and the arch of your back foot. Once you have that, hands on hips, making sure your hips are not facing anywhere but the wide edge of your mat. So from here, inhaling into a T, staying here for 2 breaths. And just feeling how strong that back leg is, where you want to see or have that 90-degree angle in that front foot, front knee. Lean over, resting on that knee and inhaling the arm up. This is a lot of proprioception, just trying to feel that you have a nice diagonal line from your fingertips to the back heel. 2 breaths here. Go ahead and windmill yourself into your warrior 2. Rotate that front hand so it's facing up towards the sky, resting your back hand on the thigh or the knee. Inhaling and coming into reverse warrior. 2 breaths. Feeling the breath going through the left side body. Once we have that, go ahead and bring yourself to a T, warrior 2. So into a flow, let's go a little faster here. Gonna lean down, either touching the floor or leaning on the knee. Inhale your right arm diagonally up, staying for a breath. Inhale and windmill your arms up to warrior two. And exhaling, stretching the left side body, staying here for a breath. Inhale into warrior two. And exhale down into extended side angle. Stay here for a breath. Inhale yourself into warrior two. And exhale into reverse warrior. Stay here for one breath. And inhale into warrior two. Last one here. Exhale, extended side angle. Stay here for a breath. Inhale, windmill into warrior two. And then exhale into reverse warrior. Stay here for one breath. Excellent. And inhale into warrior two. So go ahead and help kind of guide that back leg back in. And from here, we're going to come into a forward fold in goddess. So still kind of working on opening up the hip. So you're going to come into a nice little wide stance here, seated at the edge of your chair. Making sure that think of the inner thigh here twisting outwards so that I guess it's kind of facing the ceiling, if you can kind of feel that muscle rotating outwards. Your knees are still tracking over the middle toes. You're going to go ahead and clasp your hands behind your back, straighten the arms, and as you exhale, bending at or hinging at your hips, bring your chest forward towards the floor. And this is your forward fold in goddess. We're going to stay here for a couple breaths. Try and make sure that your knees are not bending inwards towards the floor or towards your face. Try to keep them nice and wide, nice and open. And inhale, coming up. And we'll do that one more time. At your next exhale, go ahead and slowly hinge forward. Pulling your arms up behind you. Hold for 2 long, steady breaths. And inhale yourself up. From here, we're going to come into our pigeon, another nice little hip opener here. So you can heel toe and heel toe your feet together. I'm going to go ahead and lift my right foot up first for pigeon, and you're going to come into a figure 4. So resting your right ankle on the left knee, letting that knee drop to the side. If this is too much for you, you can also kind of just cross a little bit further down instead of ankle on knee. Wherever your body is asking for your practice today, please don't push any further. You want to come to a nice, comfortable, uncomfortable position, not one of pain. So from here, go ahead and you can stay here if you kind of feel that stretch through the outer hip. And if available to you, you can start actually bending at the hip and kind of reaching forward here for a present in front of you, let's say. That way you're still extending the spine. And we're going to breathe into this. Another 2 breaths. And from here, I'd like you to bring your right arm and resting it on the inner arch here of that foot, if that's where you are, or if you have your legs crossed further down, you just want to have your arm resting on your thigh. So from here, we're going to come into a twist in figure 4. So again, as we inhale first, we're going to lengthen the spine. And as we exhale, try to find the back of the chair with your left arm and twist to look behind or up towards the ceiling. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to twist and look a little bit further back behind you. And I'm using my right arm here to actually prop myself and twist a little bit more. And my left hand is just supporting me by holding on to the back of the chair. So one more long, steady breath here. And at your last exhale, go ahead and twist yourself forward. Gently lift that right ankle off. Place it gently on the floor and we'll switch legs. So left ankle on right knee. Once we have our nice figure four position, go ahead and lean forward, hinging at your hip. Bringing both arms ahead of you, trying to reach something ahead of you. And just gently guiding your breath towards the hip. Allowing that stretch to deepen every exhale, just relaxing a little bit more into that muscle. Our hip flexors are one of the tighter muscles that don't really get attention while we're seated, either driving or just at work, maybe at our computer desk. I'm definitely seated a lot of the time for my patients, so this just feels really nice. Always feel free to stay in certain asanas if you feel like your body needs it. You don't always have to follow me. That just makes your practice yours, right? A little bit different. All right. So from here, we're going to come into our twist in seated four or pigeon. So you're going to have our left hand over the inner arch here of our left foot. Go ahead and grab the back of your chair with your right hand. Inhale to lengthen and then exhaling to twist behind you. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to turn and look towards the ceiling if available to you. If not, you can keep your head forward. And always remember you're lengthening when you inhale and you're exhaling to expel or twist the spine. Hold for one long breath. And at your exhale, go ahead and untwist yourself. Come forward. Unhinging at your hip and bringing your ankle down. So from here, we're going to come into a high lunge. So I find this one here. You're just going to have your hips facing the short edge of your mat, and you're going to hold or have the side of the chair here available to you. And I'm going to bring my left foot back behind me first. Just move that out of the way. And my knee, or my front knee, is going to be pretty much in the middle of my chair. Bending that front knee, and you can lift the back heel up and give it a tiny little bend here. And this is high lunge. So you can also have your left hand on the hip and using your right hand on the chair to give you support. And as you exhale, we're going to bend the knee and come down to the mat, and then inhaling, straightening the knee and coming into your high lunge. And exhale. You don't have to come all the way down to the mat. You can just give it a little bend here. But inhaling, you want to get into that nice stretch here, nice strong back leg. Exhale to bend. Inhale, straighten. One more here. And inhale to straighten. So once you have this nice little sturdy high lunge here, you're going to let go of the hip. You're going to inhale your left arm up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, side stretch over to the chair. And this will help open up that left hip flexor. Staying here for 3 breaths. Inhaling up, bring the arm down and bring yourself up into standing. Go ahead and turn yourself around. Be standing right in the middle of the chair. Hold on to the side of the chair with your left hand. Bring your right leg all the way back. Hips are nice and forward towards the short edge of your mat. And again, you can either have a kind of like micro bend in that back leg or a straight leg. And you're going to go ahead and bend the front knee. And always try not to bend your knee over the toes. If you find you're doing that, you're going to have to kind of do what I'm doing, inching the toes forward. So when you do bend, you can still see your toes. Okay, right hand on hip. When you're ready, go ahead, bending the knee, coming down to the mat, inhaling to straighten up. And my heel isn't touching the mat. Just means that my ankles are a little tight today. Exhaling down, inhaling, straighten. Exhale to touch the mat, inhale to straighten. Last one here, bending and then straightening up. So nice high lunge, keeping that stretch there. Gonna inhale the right arm up towards the sky. Exhale, bend towards the chair. 3 long, steady breaths here. Go ahead and inhale your arm upwards and exhale down. Pull that back leg in to meet the front. And we're going to come into hand to big toe pose. So again, this you can have done seated or you can be standing. But we're going to do something called a yogi grip. So that's where you take your 2 bunny ears and you're going to hook it around the big toe. And that's a yogi grip. So hand to big toe pose, being seated, you're gonna have yourself seated nice and planted into your sit bones. You're gonna lift your right leg, go ahead and grab your big toe. And if available to you, then you will straighten out your foot. You can also have a bend here. And if you do have a strap with you handy or a towel, that'll also help kind of elongate your arm. So you don't have to have a yogi grip here. So I will show you here with a strap or a belt. You would just wrap it around the inner arch of the leg. Sitting up nice and tall, you're going to straighten that leg and holding forward. Breathing here for 3, 2, 1. And then slowly bringing your foot outwards. 3, 2, and 1. And then pulling yourself back forward. 3, 2, and 1. So bending that leg, you can remove the strap. So again, if the balance is your challenge today, you can definitely do this standing up, and you can have the chair there to kind of keep you balanced there on one leg. But for the other leg, bending your left knee in, yogi grip the toe. Go ahead and straighten the leg forward. And we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly opening that. 3, 2, and 1. Pulling it forward. 3, 2, and 1. So go ahead and bending that knee in, resting that leg down. we're going to go ahead and do our eagle pose now that we kind of massaged and opened up our hips a little bit more. So with that, we're going to do the legs here first. And again, you can either have this seated or standing. So it's nice to have the block available to you. Having that block on the left side of your feet, you're going to bring the right foot over and resting the toes on your block. And these are your eagle legs. If available to you, you can remove that block and you can bring your toes all the way around and twist behind your calf. And a lot of this does open up the hip flexors here, so that's why we did a lot of those lunges and pigeons. So if this is not available to you, don't worry, you don't want to force it. Just have that block available to you and just crossing the legs. Okay. Same thing if you are standing. Once you have that little twist there, you can hold on to the chair for balance. And from here, you're going to bend the knees and you're going to balance your eagle legs. Okay, so whichever one you're in, keeping your eagle legs there. We're now going to have the opposite leg on, opposite arm on top. So inhaling your arms up into a cactus. You're going to have your left elbow on top of your right elbow. And from here, either bring the back of your palms together or bring your hands, palms together. And if that's too much here on the chest, go ahead and just bending at the elbows, hugging the shoulders. So from here, you want to make sure you're still opening that chest. You're not rounding your back. Nice and level. And as you practice your eagle, if you're standing, find a drishti point or a point of something that's not moving and just focus your balance. And as you're breathing here, you're going to inhale and bring your elbows nice and high up towards your face. And exhaling, bring your hands away from your face. 2 more breaths here. I know we've had you in here a little bit long. Balancing, focusing on the breath. Are we still breathing? Are we smiling? Are we enjoying ourselves? And at that last breath, go ahead and unpretzel your arms, nice and gentle. Unpretzel the legs. You can kind of like shake a little bit of that circulation back into the arms and your legs. And when you're ready, go ahead and bring that block to the right side. You're going to have your left knee over, resting on the block, or if available to you, you're going to twist around your ankle. Or last one here, if you are standing, making sure you're bending both knees and you're getting into that nice little squatted eagle legs. So once we're there, we're going to come into our arms. So inhaling the arms into your nice little cactus. You're going to have the right elbow on top of the left elbow and either holding on to the shoulders, having back of the hands towards each other, or having palms together. So staying here, finding that drishti point. Focus on the stretch across the back. Bringing your elbows nice and high. Bring your hands away from the face. Staying here for 2 breaths, long and steady. And at your last breath here, gently unclasp your hands. Unfold your leg. And we'll come into a seated camel pose, and that will just help kind of open up the heart and the chest. So a lot of the times with us sitting or even with bad posture, all of this tends to collapse forward. Unfortunately, that's exactly where your heart is. So a lot of our breathing gets very shallow and our muscles kind of just collapse there. So camel is something that you can do while seated, just to open that heart and bring a little bit of attention back into our chest here and the muscles that open that up. So seated up nice and tall on your sit bones, you're going to hold on to the back of the chair, or I guess either here, or I've got little bars here on the side of my chair, and you're seated at the very edge of your chair, rolling your shoulders out and back behind you first, finding space between the earlobes and your shoulders. And as you inhale, you're going to lift the chest. And then exhale, you're going to kind of back bend towards the back of your chair. And remind yourself not to collapse the back of the neck like so. You're just trying to lift the chest up towards the sky, and you've got a little marionette string on the top of your head, and it's pulling it diagonally up and back towards the corner of your room. Breathing through, opening the chest here, and just resting your hands either on the sides of your chair or holding on to the lower portion of the seated piece of your chair. But remember to breathe. And you're opening the chest, rolling the shoulders back for 5 breaths here at your own pace. Long and steady. Feel as if you are using the full capacity of your breath here. No shallow inhales or exhales. At your last breath, go ahead and pull yourself forward. Bring that chest center. Give your shoulders a little shake. And we'll come into our last little piece here, which is a nice little roll down. So you're going to bring your feet forward on your chair. You don't have to have them flexed or anything like that, just nice and relaxed. You're going to roll your body forward. Ragdoll yourself to the ground or to your thighs. Breathing here. This helps a lot with any lower back pain. And at your last inhale, you're going to slowly roll yourself up vertebrae by vertebrae. Your head is the last thing to come up. From here, bring your feet in. You can come seated onto the back of your chair. You can even lean on the back of your chair. And from here, we're just going to do a nice gentle or quick little body scan to make sure that we haven't left anything with tension in it. So from the top of the head, you're going to gently close the eyes, resting our hands on our thighs here. You're going to come to your regular inhale, exhale. No need to control the breath here. Gently making sure that the muscles around your eyes aren't all tensed up. Unfurl your eyebrows, letting the jaw relax. If there's any tension in your neck, just gently bring your breath to the attention of your neck and try to dissipate that tension. Relaxing your shoulders now. Allowing the chest to rise and fall gently with your breath. You're going to soften the belly. Allow the arms to gently rest on the thigh. Unclench your fingers if you are holding them into fists. Letting the thighs relax as well as the knees. Let go of any tension in the calf muscle or in your ankles. And allowing the toes to relax. So with this body scan, it's just allowing us to gently still the body. We've relaxed the breath here. So the last portion of Shavasana is to still the mind. One of the hardest ones to exercise here. Our mind is always wandering, so just allow this moment. Invite yourself to think of the breath. Just be present with the breath. If there's any thoughts that might be floating around, that's okay. You just want to acknowledge them and then push them onto the side. You'll get back to them later. There's nowhere you need to be right now, and there's nothing you need to do right now. Just simply be. Feeling the earth pushing against your feet and the chair pushing against your sit bones. Maybe you feel your back on the back of the chair. But just know right now that you're being supported. And just let your breath guide you. If you think of your mind kind of like a still lake, all your thoughts are pebbles that you've thrown onto that lake, and they make little ripples. But imagine that those thoughts are just gently sinking down to the bottom of the lake, and those ripples start to dissipate to the point where you just have still water and a calm breath. And just gently sinking yourself into stillness here. Shavasana is a time for us just to help the body or the nervous system to absorb all the goodies you've done so far for it in the last practice here. And if you feel like you want to stay in Shavasana a little bit longer, I invite you to do so. But I'm going to help guide anyone who's ready to come out of Shavasana, coming and bringing your presence back into the room by wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers. You're going to take a nice deep breath, sighing it out, and gently blinking your eyes open when you're ready. Just going to bring this chair around here. So that was today's practice for core and energy. Hopefully that was helpful to you today. If there's any feedback for today's practice, all is welcome. But to seal in this practice, I invite you to have your hands towards center. Thanks for coming. It was an honor teaching you today. Namaste.